Just me or is there spinach in it? There's spaghetti models and empty rum bottles, and sometimes Louis says hi. Hey, Louis. But you don't get no hurries and don't have no worries, cause we're drunk donkey nationwide. Everybody now. Lines where the page. You know he'll be tracking every move that makes. You know it's lines where the page. You know he won't let us all get blown away. Did I ever tell you the story of the drunk donkey? Once upon a time, there was this weather woman. You can come as a pilot, stay kind of quiet, but you know you love watching Mike's page. So put your cone head shirt on, watch it live on your phone, and drink drunk donkey beer all day. You got it. Mike's web page. You know you'll be tracking every move that makes. You know it's Mike's web page. You know you won't let us all get blown away. Is that Blobby Bobby? I think that's Juicy Jerry. Yeah, Mike, throw a party, man.
Boom. What's happening, everybody? Good morning. It's Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. We don't get to eat tacos anymore. Our favorite little taco place got shut down. Terrible, man. You know, the older you get traditions, right? Good friend of mine, Dom Morrow, if you're listening, anybody knows him. He's down in Northport. He always said, people are like dogs. We like routines. And our routine used to be take the golf cart to Taco Tuesday. So we got to find a new taco place. So what's up, everybody? How you feeling, Miss Shelley Ross? She wasn't feeling good yesterday. Everybody hope she feels better. We're coming to you live from Oldsmar, Florida. Had a question yesterday for somebody. Yeah, Oldsmobile. R.E. Olds was the owner and founder of Oldsmobile. Also founded my little town of Oldsmar, sandwiched between Clearwater, St. Pete, and Tampa. It was the like a trading post little stop on the way with horse and buggy, top of the bay. Got completely flattened by the 1921 hurricane. They had to rebuild it. So we have a lot of hurricane history right here in my hometown. That's pretty fitting that I ended up in a town that was hurricane famous, right? Rebecca, Louis tomorrow. We alternate Louis, Hunter, Louis, Hunter, Louis. Hunter only gets 2 days because he was the second dog. Louis was the original dog. So, we're going to say hello to a bunch of people. We're going to chill out today. We got a little bit to talk about for sure in the tropics. We got something homegrown action brewing. So, the Daily Brew. brought to you by our great friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. I'll be stopping there in a couple of days. We're heading to Talladega. Ricky Bobby. Last year we were tracking Ian about this time because we had to leave late to go to Talladega, but we ended up going anyways. But so far so good on the tropics. We'll be heading out next week, so we won't be live a few days next week. But I do have Starlink now, so we'll be able to go live if we need to go live, which is Central Time, Shelly. You know how it is. We streamed live during my trip to Panama every day, even though it was 8:19 in the morning. It was so confusing. I didn't know if it was 10:19, 8:19, 9:19. I didn't know what time it was. But we still went live every day, right? Right, Hunter? So anyway, we have a lot of great supporters. ABC is one of them, obviously. I'll take some pictures there as we load up and stock up for our big trip. And hope I get to see some people there. I always meet a million fans there at Talladega. Talladega! So, oh, my eyes are a little better today. I wore glasses yesterday. Lance, I'm the only one talking. I know. We're going to get into that. Will Parker, good morning. Buford, yeah, I got your fall foliage email too. Thank you. What's up, Mr. Mike E. L.A. Lance? Somebody made a joke about our linguine. Somehow I misspelled, or one day we decided to, Gail, I like your comment there. So we call lingering fronts linguine fronts. Keeping it into spaghetti model mode, right? And listen, remember yesterday? Who was watching yesterday? Well, what did I tell you Julie was going to say when she got home? All right. What? This is like school. What did I say yesterday? Let's see. What was the thing that I said Julie would make a comment about? Let's see how many fans we have. Not you, Shelly. But anyway, this cold weather, man, I'm telling you. 73 in Florida feels like 53. We got low 60s this morning that reached all the way down into top of the central, almost Interstate 4. LA Key, you're pretty close. You forgot one letter. Good morning, Mr. Eric. Moist. SpaghettiOs, Kelly, you the winner. Everybody's catching up. SpaghettiOs, Kendra, yep. You're awesome, yep. Julie did come home with Chrissy, yep. It's so funny. I swear to God, I wish I should have set a camera up. She goes, what are SpaghettiOs doing on my desk? Laura, the red area is not anything to worry about. That is going to curve away. One time it looked like it might go west, but that was a long time ago. Joe, hats. Yeah, we do have a few. If you really want one, email me on my email on my Spaghetti Model website, and I'll make sure you have access to that. Right, Shelly? I know it's for our brew crew only, but it seems like the blue one, everybody got them, so I need to get rid of about 10 of them. Sorry, Shelly. Okay, just for Joe. You're right, though, Shelly. Do not give the link out, ever. But we're fixing to get the weather radio out. I'm excited about that. We're going to have... I want to do the weather radio maybe after season slows down. It'd be great for Christmas time. We'll do some raffles at the cruise too, right, Shelly? We'll do some weather radio raffles. All right, so this is cool weather. Unbelievable, right? Low 60s. We had 50s in Panhandle this morning. Low humidity all the way down, up and down Florida. Everybody felt it. Even though it's 73, it feels like 63 because of the humidity. Everybody, Bradenton, I had people writing from Bradenton all excited. Right? Daniel says I look like my dog. I get that a lot. We're going to talk weather in just a second. Promise. We're going to talk about that yellow spot first, Nicole. Yep. Everybody says I look like my dog. I don't know about that. But anyway, cool weather, cold front. Here we go. What's up, Mr. Jason? Christmas album. We should do a Christmas song. Jason, you should be good. We don't send anything out yet until around Christmas time. Talladega's gonna be fun though. I got a 6x12 pool. I need to figure out a way. I got the Alabama. I tried calling them, but they're not open yet. I got to find out how much a water truck's gonna let me fill up my pool, because they don't have any hoses in Talladega. Unless somebody graciously is working Talladega Speedway, I need to figure out a way to get the hose to site 1101 so I can fill up my pool. We're gonna have a pool on Talladega, our Talladega Boulevard. All right. Let's talk about this Linguini front, and then we'll still say hi to everybody. So the NAC came out with their post this morning. Here, let's just leave this up for now so people can read it. I can't really... that's probably good right there. I like to make it nice and halfway production quality. I am a one-man band over here. So there's our spot. I was a little surprised. I will admit it. I really thought they were going to go orange on this. They didn't. They're the boss. Remember, I am not a meteorologist, and there's a lot of debate online. Oh my God. There's so many meteorologists tearing down TikTokers and YouTubers right now that are doing what I'm doing. So I'm next, I'm sure. So I always make sure to let everybody know it's Mike's weather page. It's not an official source of any sort of weather. So hope you know that. Enough of my fans say that. They know I say it a lot. So I never try to pose to be anybody else other than a Monday morning quarterback social media ologist. But there's our spot, 30% chance. So they're talking about it subtropical, which kind of means it's leftover frontal line, mid-level energy kind of reaches the surface. But man, I'm going to show you some models here. That looks like the models, this has been the season. Human versus models, models versus humans. Now we're doing models versus humans. Models are saying yes. NAC isn't that excited about it yet. So we're going to show you all the latest and greatest. But it all comes down to this Linguini front. I posted this. Oh, I didn't want to tease you. This was a conglomeration of graphics. This is what we got going on. Chrissy from PA, love what's going on. Pennsylvania. I got a lot. All my mom and dad met in Pennsylvania. They started dating like it. My mom's party. My mom. I had to tell you this story. Shelly, I thought this was you. 9:19. Somebody texts me. It's my mom. I'm like, and then she says sorry. Like, mom knows I go live every day. But anyway, my mom and dad met at 13 years old up in Warren, PA. Man, been married ever since. So, Gary, how many beers am I bringing? Well, it depends on what TBBC hooks me up with. I got to see my buddy Major. We're going to have a lot. We're going to do free samples. I got a cool banner that Jason at Furman did with our Daytona race car, because we're about 99% sure we're going to have a car at Daytona again. So we're going to tease that at Talladega and say, come see us at Daytona. Hey, Cindy Norman, good morning. Long-time follower. Nicole's a PA transplant. Samantha from Coastal VA, you're going to get a little rain. Oh, Katie, local fire department. Hey, great idea. Katie, you rock. First round's on me on our cruise. Even though they're all included for free, right? Oh, man, you're awesome. I never thought of that. Thank you, Ian Clark. Stephen Kirby, appreciate that. I just have to say that over. I'm telling you, I say it, but I have to say it now because you ought to read it. If you're over on X, Lance, thanks, buddy. I'll have a couple. Big old Lance buying around. It's hot and heavy on X right now. It's bad. They're calling everybody out. They're tired of it, and I get it. I mean, it's kind of like, I look at it as almost in their defense. You know, they go to school. You know, they spend the big money. They learn the science. In the world that we live in, people kind of sometimes listen to anybody, kind of like the Cat 6 girl, right? The whole world was listening to the Cat 6 girl. And then last week with Lee, there was a video going around that all three systems, Margot, Lee, and the another one, were going to merge. And people were really, so it's almost borderline like medicine, like, you know, somebody performing medicine without a degree. I mean, they can almost use that defense, but so I understand it, man. It's getting hot and heavy, man. Meteorologists are getting sick and tired of people spreading weather and people are leaning towards them now and not the professionals. So it's a fine line. I get it, but it's worse than I've ever seen it, and it's getting to a boiling point here. That there's a lot of toxic conversations going on, man. People calling people out, and it's getting ugly. I just stay home and do my thing. Oh man, I had we'll talk later. All right, let's talk all later. So I'm getting really sidetracked. Usually I sidetrack a little bit, not a lot today. So here's the surface charts for the next 3 days: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There it is. That lingering front. If you're wondering what linguini means, it's a little funny thing I typed. There's no such thing as a linguini front. It just sounds funny. So it's a lingering front. So South Florida rains are definitely on the increase the next few days. What usually happens is when you have a lingering front, upper air becomes, the jet stream becomes relaxed, and you get a lot of less shear. High pressure kind of comes in, and conditions start to improve. So many times we see this where this lingering front here hangs out in the lower part of the Gulf of Mexico. Usually early season, late season is where we get trouble from these fronts. As the season gets going, this is only September, right? These fronts, every time we get a front, they push a little farther south. It's kind of like, every front pushes it a little more. So then we get in October, these fronts go farther south. They stall, they disappear, they leave behind a little energy, and that little low pressure energy sometimes spins up. And you can see it really good here with this windy app. This is what you see in the intertropics convergence zone, but this is what we're seeing right now. It's so fascinating at the 850 level. Well, maybe it was better on the surface level. I don't know. I'm sorry. There's surface level. So in order to establish a surface low, this is just what we see across the monsoonal trough here. You get winds from the north, winds coming up from the south, and you know what happens eventually? Look, they start to rotate, and they actually start to spin a low pressure. So it's like, I always did it like, oh, my desk is so bad, Shelly, but she sent me tops one time. But it's like a top. The winds from the top, the winds from the bottom, they start spinning. Next thing you know, you get low pressure starts spinning, and it always starts like right there. So that's what it looks like. We see it across the Atlantic basin a lot in this area. This happens all the time. You get these waves come off of Africa. Now it's dipping a little low. It's a little too low right now for anything to get going. We're going to stop looking this way. Now here's that new system. It's supposed to exit tomorrow. We were looking at yesterday. There's a general, maybe it's this one, I don't know. They're expecting the next wave to come off soon. We'll talk about that. We're talking about the yellow area right now. Then we'll talk about the far area. I know we have this red area. Let me just throw this out there in case nobody's got patience. This area hasn't formed yet. It's coming off of Africa now somewhere, and almost every model is doing that way east of Bermuda. So we're not worried about that. It's not an invest yet because it's not even happening yet. It's something that's going to happen in a couple days. Nigel's disappearing too. So this one's going that way. This one's going to follow Nigel and go that way. There's no Atlantic high pressure system right now. That's non-existent. So everything that comes off Africa usually recurves without a strong Bermuda high. So we look at homegrown. That's what we're talking about. This little guy at 30%. All right, so back to this little area. So there's our lingering front. You can see the rainfall totals. The initial rainfall in Florida is because of the front itself. Then we start to get a little surface low try to develop, and it's going to go northward. So here are the latest conglomeration. Word of the day. Conglomeration. By the way, hey, listen. Eastlake High School. Hi, Sarah. Sarah. They watch me at school. All right, so here, Bill Belichick. We're watching a little football. How about the Bucks, huh? Yeah, I know, right, Joe? We can't predict rain. folks, no, weather central, you're right. A couple of respected followers of that I follow are really starting to clickbait a little bit more. When there's good model data that it's not, it's pretty hard to say, well, it might, Anyway, so these are your latest, and I'm going to go way into them. These are on tropicaltidbits.com. But what I was surprised about is this: even the euro overnight started to show a little more signs of a surface low off of Carolina coast. These are all on Saturday. Subtropical, tropical, it's hard to tell based on these, but 998 on the icon. Heavy rain, winds possibly along the coast. This is South Carolina, North Carolina. GFS all the way to 986. Now the GFS keeps a little bit more off the coast, but still 986. And then the Canadian, who's been doing pretty darn good this year, 992. So I was a little surprised the NHC didn't go at least 40%, make it orange. I really was surprised, to tell you the truth. You got that warm Gulf Stream. Waters are, still above normal. Obviously, they're not where Franklin and Lee were, but they're still warm along the coast. But they're the boss, 30%. Timing would be this weekend. Today's Tuesday, so a few days from now. And let's get into it. Let's dive into all the models. So this is how we all began. We all started out with Tropical Tidbits years ago, and that's what we're going to do right now. Good old Levi. I don't know if I don't know if he got married yet, but he's a great guy. He puts up with my shenanigans. He follows me on Twitter, so I'm sure he shakes his head sometimes and says, "Mike." I love his style, though, man. I love it. I love him. I love him. I love Dennis Phillips. So yeah, Mike, I don't think they're cared about me too much. I love the fire department, though. There's got to be somebody in Talladega Fire Department. Oh, God, I love you guys. I love it. What do I do? Just call them, Katie? Should I just call them? Does anybody know anybody who works at local Talladega Fire Department? I need my pool filled up. I'll bring some umbrellas and some koozies. That's a great idea. So, anyway. Hey, what's up, Bill Lauderdale? Yeah, Bill, I'll never be a good-looking weather broadcaster. They do have some models, that's for sure. I'm not that hyper today, Mikey. No, man, I'm good. I just feel good today. It's because it was a Miller Lite kind of night. Because where we go watch football, they don't have very many choices. So Miller Lite's kind of like water. All right, so let's look at. So this is serious business. So anybody that's tuning in 20 minutes later, here we go. Sorry about that. But the forecast hasn't changed, and I strongly suggest the way social media works is when you're scrolling, you might see a post from 3 days ago. You got to look at when it was posted, and that's so frustrating even for me because I'll be scrolling and I'll see a post from Lee 3 days ago, and I'm like, I don't care anymore, right? So you got to click on, whoever you follow. If it's me, click on Mike's Weather page, and then you'll see the most recent post. And I have these linked right here on my site. If you ever go to the web page, it's all right here. And there you go. You can see everything I posted this morning. And usually it's everything you need to know in the tropics at least. So the euro is the least aggressive. So as we go through the week here, there's our bubbling water over that warm Gulf Stream. And that's how things spin up usually. They just start to, brew. Here's Thursday, big old mess of juice here getting going here. A little low starting to show. And you can see it a lot better like on vorticity maps and stuff. But it's hard to look at. But you can see the low right here starting to work. And that was all on that frontal line that I showed earlier. So here's Thursday, 2 days from now. You start to see it starting to spin about right here. And then it's just broad low pressure area. Now, this is the 6Z. This is Friday night. Notice now, Florida will be probably on a drier side of this thing, because if it is a true frontal line, it'll actually be ingesting some drier, cooler air. So once you get away from the coast here, most of all this is going to end up impacting more the southeast minus Florida, maybe coastal, but the peninsula side will actually be wrapping in maybe some dry air. And you probably can see this on the humidity map here. I don't know, do we have? Yeah. Oh, big, holy crap, there you go. Big time, right? So there's the dry air. I mean, look at this. This is Friday night. Holy cow, this is dry air. Huge surge of dry air will be pumping in around whatever gets going. So that's why the South Florida rains are the heaviest the next couple of days as front. But once this thing starts to tighten, it's going to be spinning counterclockwise. It's going to be pulling down cold Arctic air in the 70s. But dry air. A dry 73 is like a cold 51. And the fires burn easy like that. So, all right, so the euro, that was 60. What's interesting with this one, it's 1,004 on Friday. Let's see, overnight run here. There's your heavy rain starting up on Friday. And there they go. They kind of spin in. This is Saturday morning, all the way up to Virginia, north of Richmond. Look at that. So look at 1,001, 1,002, 3. Nothing really organized, but, subtropical, meaning because it's going to have that dry air, cooler core, maybe. But look at this big old clump of storms. This is Saturday. So unfortunately, the euro goes straight smack dab north, and that means definitely impacts going into Sunday here. And then another front comes and swooshes it out of here. But, very, 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 very similar. Had some gentleman ask about Myrtle Beach this weekend. Well, that's Saturday morning. You just don't know, right? There's Saturday night. It has heavy rain for Myrtle Beach, 1,003. Now remember, the millibars, technically there's no science to this, but usually around 995 upwards is tropical storm. To maybe 1,005, maybe 1,005, probably not even that high. So anywhere from the 995 to 1,001, 1,002 could be tropical or subtropical. So we're not talking about a hurricane on the euro. We're just talking about a big old sloppy mess. But you know what this does? Brings in a lot of wind, a lot of waves, storms off that Gulf Stream on that north side, typically on the northeast side. All right, so the other models, let's take a look at the GFS. Now, the GFS really went bonkers. All right, so here is Friday, starting to set up over that warm Gulf Stream. Warm Gulf Stream is tricky because it can really get things going a little quicker. Sometimes the curvature here, kind of like that we see down the BOC, kind of helps spin up a system due just to the land. But the GFS really goes all in. There's a big clump getting sheared up to the north. So this is Saturday morning, heavy rains for Carolinas and Virginia. Here's the core hanging around. Hard to tell, man. That's pretty aggressive. But it does go off to the northeast. It doesn't make landfall. Really, it gets pretty close to the Outer Banks. But it really spins it up. Almost questionable. Too much, maybe. But it's been really consistent. There's 985, 987. So general same thinking, right? The euro goes a little more north. The GFS goes a little bit more out to sea. Icon, always a great model in my opinion for formation of systems. Here's Friday. Here is Friday night. Starting to see big old blobs of rain heading towards the east coast. Remember, dry down here because now our system's rotating in large amounts of dry air from the north. And there's, they're 996, man, 994. That's definitely borderline named system there. So, again, I'm really surprised the NHC didn't go a little higher, but they're the boss. But that's Saturday morning. Heavy blobs of rain northward because it's probably sheared. A lot of upper level winds pushing whatever up into Virginia northward. But there's the core, Carolinas, Saturday morning. And then we go to this Canadian model. Same exact thing. Sloppy system gets going here Friday morning. Big old blob of rain rolls into the Carolinas Friday, Friday, basically. And we got a tightening pressure system. Look at that, 995 here Saturday morning. Big blob sheared up to the north. And there's potential 992 at the South Carolina, North Carolina line going northward Saturday. And then it's long gone. So Sunday, at least, on all the models, so far, looks good. It's the Friday and Saturday. So if you're worried about Sunday should be nice for everybody. And that includes dry air, even on the GFS. So definitely a Friday, Saturday event. Sunday, not too bad. We go to the Northeast here. I don't think much is going to linger coastal-wise. We had some rain showing, but we could get some northward, it looks like. Maybe lingering through the weekend. So maybe Sunday rains now north of Carolinas. It depends on how close this thing gets to the coast, It disperses there. So yeah, that's why I posted the Northeast map earlier. So some of this could be lingering for the Northeast. Guaranteed. But as far as impact area goes, wherever it decides to end up landing, it'll be out of here by Sunday. So it's basically twofold, right? Kind of like this area is maybe both days, but then this is more Sunday and this is more Saturday. Saturday. Corey, thanks for the information there. Talladega. Moist. Everybody loves that word today. I don't know what's up with that. Lance, I haven't looked that far, but let's go look that far. I know that the pressures, I've been anxiously watching the lowering pressures in about 10 days down in the Caribbean area. We'll look at that here in a second. It's a moist and juicy weekend. All the claim payouts. Let's see. Carolinas will be next. Oh, no softball, Beverly. Sorry. So that's it. I mean, good. Sherry Brown, good morning. Well, I'm just looking at comments here to see what else up. Kelly Wilmington, good to see you. Yep, you're going to get a little action out of this, it looks like, for sure, Friday and Saturday. Eric, I know Emily's been sick for like 3 weeks, man. I don't know what she had. She finally got some medicine. I mean, they didn't have a fever or nothing. Now Sarah's coughing. James Lehman, good morning. Samantha, nor'easter. No full moon. Remember what I learned from Lee. I do not cover tropics north of Virginia. I had my buddy Steve Platt. Anybody know Steve Platt? Lives down here, works at Home Depot, good guy. I was like, he was from New York. And I said, I learned a lot about you New Yorkers, man. You don't like to be told what the weather's going to do. and you know what? They're right. They got so tired of the media talking about Lee. They're like, man, we deal with this all year long. I'm like, well, it turned out right. That's why I was like, I don't know. I learned a lot. I learned to stick to the Southeast. James, I got some highlights, buddy. Mark, good morning from New Orleans. First time I went to New Orleans, I'll never forget. First place we ate had jambalaya. It was my first time eating jambalaya. Oh God, it was so good. I love spicy food. Samantha said they're talking about coastal flooding. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll dive deep into that. But you got to figure, right? The winds, you're going to have a slow, low pressure area just pounding the winds for a while. Let's look at those gradients and winds here. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's kind of get an idea what we might be seeing there for Virginia. Such a pretty name, Virginia. I got family that lives in West Virginia. Country roads, take me home. Yeah, it's cool about that song, Country Roads. Now it's become like a country music anthem. And it's pretty cool when the whole crowd starts singing it. You know, it's like, yeah. Trying to find a good wind map here, but we can't really see. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I'm glad you chimed in here. So here's this is Friday. This doesn't only go. This goes out 90 hours, but it gives you the idea, basically what's happening. Well, let's go a little more. Let's go to let's go out a little farther in time. Hey, your great weather report. What's her name? Thank you. I feel like a dummy now. Samantha West, thank you. Look at this though. This is interesting. I didn't even think about it. But there's your exactly what you were saying for Virginia. This is Saturday morning, and there's persistent winds offshore coming in straight due from the east there. So you're right. That's probably going to be good something to post. So if you see a post about that, Samantha, it's all because of you. But yeah, this is a wave map, showing you some pretty high, 20-foot, not surge, but showing, big wave action just off the coast with straight east winds, which will definitely drive water into that area. And you can go to the Windy app here and see it, windy.com, and take a look at that. Wind gusts for Saturday morning, and there's those big winds here for Virginia. Boy, you're on that one. And if you're wondering why, there you go. Big winds pushing straight smack dab right in towards Virginia. So there you go. I'll post something about that. That's good. You got it. All right, what else we got? All right, so that's that. Nothing to worry about. Listen, I'm not going to talk about it too much. Surge, probably not AJ. It's probably just going to be coastal event, Surge is based a lot on strength of a storm. So it'll be coastal. Tobacco Tom, yeah, I'm telling you, I posted a couple weeks ago. I might bring that back up. But historically, man, strong El Nino years are rough for the Southeast, especially Florida. Talking... all of our huge flooding events over the years have always come from a strong El Nino, and all the years of bad tornadoes have been El Nino. Mm-hmm. So that's because the jet stream basically parks itself right across that Gulf of Mexico, which is kind of like a spring setup for the tornado alley that they see in March and April. So when we get our dipping jet stream, you get all that warm Gulf fuel from the waters that are warm above average. That's going to be pulling up into that jet stream. Frontal lines come down. Hot and cold don't mix. Bam! Chrissy says it's 40 degrees in PA. Shelly, I didn't get bones ready, but I did clean the garage. I made a big dent in the garage, so I have a spot. What did I do yesterday? Oh, I had to get the RV worked on. I got my boys at Leone Tire and Goodyear here. Shout out to them. Hank's going to Tampa St. Juan. How's it going? I don't see nothing down that way. I don't think so. I haven't really followed much. Got a couple tropical waves, but nothing organizing. I think you're fine. It looks great. This time of year you worry about, but no. This little guy here is. Let's take a look. All right, so let's talk about this guy real quick. Yeah, have a good trip, man. Love Tampa Bay, by the way. Tampa Bay Airport's nice. Make sure you park on level 4. That's the secret with the walkway into the terminal. But there's never any parking spots, so it doesn't really matter. So this guy right here, long time ago, a couple weeks ago, they had a few of them mentioned to the East Coast, and there was a lot of posts about that. But that's not happening now. We hope. You never say never to tropics. I haven't even looked today, so I better be careful. But let's look at the individual models first off. All right, let's see what the big dogs are saying. This is tropicaltidbits.com again. So what we're watching is a wave coming off of Africa. It looks like it's that one. I think it's that same one that we just saw. Remember we just had the Windy app. It looked like there was something just east of the Cape Verde Islands. So anyway, GFS showing nothing really. Well, Splits it into two pieces there. That's kind of weird. But it does go to the Caribbean. I don't really like the GFS. Let's see what the others are doing first, and then we'll worry about the GFS. The GFS is always out to lunch. So here's that system coming off of Africa right now. This is Thursday. Oh, here's that homegrown. I'm like, what is that? I know what that is. That's what we're talking about. I'm like, yeah. Why we only got 30% on that? I don't know. Only they know why. It's like the Kid Rock song, Only God Knows Why. We should do a song, Only the NAC Knows Why. God, they see things we don't. All right, well, here's the wave off of that big red, right? This is what the euro is showing right now. Ooh, so that's 10 days out, hopefully. Looking long range, back to Mikey, I think you were asking, or Lance. There's 10 days out, general low pressures. Starting to see a little more lowering pressures in this area. Maybe a Central American gyre, maybe, but could be a general area to watch early October if the pressures continue to drop down there. You can kind of see where we're at like right now. Here's Wednesday or tomorrow. Or today is Tuesday, right? Yeah, this is kind of today. Well, tonight. But anyway, you can kind of see the higher pressures, and then you get to 10 days and it's starting to lower just a little bit. So that's the trend we're going to watch if we start to get lowering pressures down here. All right, so there's that. The wave off of Africa. Canadian model. Here it is. The wave off of Africa. Wednesday, Thursday. Here it comes. And it picks it up and starts to curve it on day 10. This is September 29th, 10 days from now. So that wave hasn't even exited Africa yet. 10 days from now. This is the euro, 10 days from now, the 29th. And 10 days from now, in the Canadian, right here. So that's a long way away, a lot of tracking. The icon doesn't really go out that far, but we can see close to what it's thinking. Starts to pull up a little bit with another wave behind it. So starting to see that little tug to the north. This is next Tuesday. I don't really go that far. All right, that's about it, really. The GFS, I just don't like it. I'm not going to show you GFS. You can go look at the GFS. GFS is everywhere. It's always bad. Bad model. All right, let's look at the KMA model, which is doing pretty darn good. Canadian or Korean model. So KMA. Never thought I'd find a new model to look at. Let's take a look at Tropical Atlantic and the KMA on the 000Z. Even the KMA is showing a weaker system, but initially, then it develops our system here. So honestly, the reason. And be realistic here. The reason I believe the NAC is at 30%, the UK, the Euro, and the KMA are three models not really showing much development with the wave off of that frontal line, or not even a wave, the frontal line. So there isn't 100% model support really of development off the southeast coast. So I'm sure they use a blend of models, and until the Euro picks it up a little bit more, maybe in the UK they won't go higher. It makes sense. You got 6 models you look at, and you take the average of those 6, and if it's 30%, it's 30%. Megan, great question about cruise lines. They are the best. Royal Caribbean's one of the best. Oh, how did my home post go? I didn't even look. I forgot I did that. So cruise lines alter their ship routes perfect. So if you have 5 days on the water, they might move your port to another day. They might make your day at sea somewhere else. They'll figure out a way. If there's a system on Tuesday, you're supposed to be the Bahamas and it's bad, they'll go past it if you're supposed to go to Labadee. And they did that on our Royal cruise. We flip-flopped Bahamas and Labadee because it was nicer in Labadee the day of Bahamas, so they flip-flopped it perfect. We outran the storm, went to Labadee, storm dissipated, we went back through the storm, but then we ended up at Bahamas after the front passed, and it was nice. So they're really good about altering their routes around storms. LJ, El Nino probably won't affect the length of the hurricane season. No, the warmer water will more than anything. Oh, God. Let's see. Hurricane. What's the chance of hurricane hitting Fort Myers on 9:30? Ruth. Now, that is... right. I can tell you right now there's no model showing a hurricane in Fort Myers. I can tell you that. I mean, I never say never in the tropics, but maybe later in the month. Tobacco Tom, yep. Well, remember we had Zeta a couple years ago, late season. Zeta was a strong one. I showed a lot of that yesterday. I'm not going to do it today, but we showed a lot about late season systems down in the Caribbean to watch. Golf is boring. Well, it depends on what you think boring is. Not everybody wants tropics, that's for sure. So, Nicole, what you got there? Question: has there ever been more systems than names? Yeah. Hey, you're awesome, Nicole Lynn. I appreciate that. No, we had a season back in 2020 that they ran out of names, and they used to use a Greek alphabet list because they ran out. The W was the last name on the list. Well, nobody liked the Greek alphabet name because it was so confusing that now they have a supplemental list. And if you go to my page here on the very top, it says storm names. Once we get through the list of names down to Whitney, we have a alternate names. So once we lose Whitney, if we went that far, there's an alternate names list, and it starts out here. And they're hard. I can't. I don't think I can pronounce any of these. I can't pronounce any. Adria, Braylon, Kara, Dad, Deshaun, Emery. I can do Emery, Foster. So anyway, this would be what they do after W if we ran out. And little note about hurricane season: the Pacific is completely different than the Atlantic, so they have their own names, they have their own numbering system. The Pacific is completely different than us. So that at times they might have two of the same lettered systems, and it's confusing. AJ, yep, you don't get a lot in Jacksonville. You know why? It's very fascinating. Because in Jacksonville, there's this natural desire of storms to either A, because of our strong Bermuda high, they either A, keep on trucking that way, or when they do turn, they're reacting to a weakness and they usually go that way. So it would be really hard for a system to directly come into you because we usually have some sort of a high pressure in place or a frontal line picking a system and moving it on out. So that's just a weird angle. And you're kind of protected by this natural bend here too. You know, this whole cutoff area right here where storms kind of do that typically. So yeah, you're definitely in a very low hit area. And I have a lot of cool data down here. If you look at later on the sheet here, you can look at landfall numbers. And you can see, obviously, South Florida over the last, this is only to 2010, but, not, you know, look at red, orange. So look at blue, very few. And here was what was interesting about the Big Bend area. Look, over history, very few storms have ever hit in the Big Bend area. In fact, it was unprecedented for Idalia. That area never got hit by a storm like this. And the big reason why, and big reason Lee kept going north, was we had Franklin to the east of Idalia, and it built a high pressure up that was kind of rare between the two, and it let our system keep on going north before it turned. So, you know, these areas don't get hit a lot. It's weird, I know. A lot of it's the exit that they exit between the Yucatan and Cuba before they start to make that turn. But this area doesn't get a lot of storms. Taylor County only had 2 storms from 1900 to 2010. Jamaica, what's up, Mr. Ian? Nothing cooking for you all down there. All right, so let's look at the ensembles for now. Since we're talking about the Caribbean, I know I talked about it a lot yesterday, but the reason the Caribbean is so worrisome in October is we have a lot of water. So the water temperatures here on Tropical Tidbits here, obviously, blue is colder than normal, and that's because of Franklin. And we had a couple other storms that were like uneventful, but Franklin, and Lee here really cooled the water down. But look at how hot the water is. This is based on averages. So water temperatures are still hot, even across where our new system's at. This white should be normal. So even the water's hot here off the southeast coast, allowing for a quick spin up if it was going to try to do something. So the water's still warm, very warm down here. Late season action of, this area here, the ocean heat content, hottest in the Atlantic. So that's how hot the water goes. So this area, we get any energy that comes up to the Pacific, or we get a lingering tropical wave that comes across, or an old frontal line, any little seed that starts going down here, we got to worry about. Now, we do have El Nino this year, which typically brings in a lot of wind shear through this area. But as we saw with Idalia, and we saw it with Michael a few years ago, if it gets past that, it can get going and get going fast. So rapid intensification is a real deal when you have these hot waters. We've seen it every year now, pretty much starting with Harvey. I don't know, what do we have in 15? What was 15? I don't remember. But I just remember every year it seems like we're getting in a rapid intensificated system. It seems like it since we've really been doing this a lot during these lives. All right, so we're going to look at down the road modeling on our red area coming off of Africa. Hopefully it hasn't changed. I haven't even looked this morning. But your 10-day ensemble list is this. All right, so this is looking out 10 days. How you understand these maps is these endpoints here that you're seeing. This is the endpoints in 10 days. So majority of these models say in 10 days, whatever's coming off Africa today, it's going to be here in about 10 days. And that's around September 29th. When you go past September 29th, a majority of them are curving east of Bermuda. So that's what you see. That's what you like to see is high confidence that this thing's going to recurve. And every day that passes, the more we see this, then you start to feel better that red area is going to recurve. Curve, can't say recurve. People hate recurve. I hate recurve. Curve is a curve. I don't know what a recurve is. It'd be like It'd be like this. That curve and a recurve. I don't know. That's a curve. I don't know. Curve balls like that. And here, all these little clumps of spaghetti here are the system that we're watching this week. And then past that, look, 15 days. All right, so 15 days. October 3rd. That's a long way away. But look, we're starting to see a couple areas here. Now, let's go a little closer. So back to Lance's question. Oh, God, scam likely. What the hell number is that? I don't know. So let's look at down this neck of the woods. So 15 days from now, long way away. This is October 3rd. But you're starting to see a little bit of action on either side. And I talked about the lowering pressures. So nothing solid, nothing to worry about. Just that, hey, you're starting to see a little sign that maybe something's trying to pop up there. Again, looking at the big dogs, NOAA, they have their global tropics hazards map, and they're showing this general area October 3rd also. Remember, that's only 20% chances, but I'm sure they're seeing lowering pressures in October too. So that's kind of where you might look. And you GFS lovers, long range, GFS has been hinting something popping up there. The GFS is the only one that goes past 10 days on their operational runs. But here is, all right, so just kind of showing you, maybe something down here. I don't know. It's had a hurricane popping out of here. It's so inconsistent. It's not. I never share this kind of stuff because it's all over the place. But you can bet once it shows one. This one here started showing low pressure October 4th. So it's all over the place. There's one out of. So this one. This is the power of social media. This is the one I saw all over the place, and it was one run out of about 10 for October 3rd. So just know that could be the next spot to watch based on climatology, pressures. So that's all we're going to do. That is all I'm going to say. Too many beers, Mike. Nope, didn't have any yet. Oh, Shelly's going to take a big old nap today. Good for you. I should probably lose that because somebody's going to see me showing that. What the heck is that? All right, so we showed the radar. Next 7 days. Let's just show you an idea what to expect the next 7 days as far as rains go, because you're going to see that frontal line linger. And let's just leave it on the old US here. Total precip. Let's look at 24-hour precip. So just focus on South Florida if you want. That's kind of the rain all the way through Tuesday, Wednesday. We got some strong storms for the middle part of U.S. today. Oklahoma, I think big hail expected. But there's your rainfall to Wednesday, Thursday. Watch it start to trek northward now. So there's Friday. And then depending on where this thing goes, who gets the brunt of the rain. This is Friday to Saturday. You can just kind of see that thing pivot and go kind of northward. There's our next front that's going to kind of push it out of here. So the big rain threat for middle part of Florida remains pretty much central Florida, all the peninsula, probably through Thursday. And then on Friday, things get a lot better for the Florida. Then our focus shifts on where this low pressure ends up sliding northward. And it could be, some bummer weather for the coastal Atlantic as this thing moves on up. And like I said, Sunday it looks like it's more of a northeast yucky mess. Sunday looks a whole lot better, at least for many across the area that was initially impacted. So that's all I got to say about that. Christmas time's coming. Why don't you buy some MWP gear? We got some awesome products. We got this Redneck Storm Chaser shirt. We got the new logo. I got a new flag printed up for Talladega. I just ordered it. I had to get it overnight shipped, but I got the new logo on a flag. Brews, dogs, and weather. Things that go together. Coffee, dogs, and Mike. Things that I like. We got the redneck, or the Jeep Storm Chaser shirt. The Hurricane Watchdogs. Louie and Hunter. I watch blobs. Donkey sleeping in a hammock when the season's over. Perfect shirt for that. And of course we got the donkey beer, and of course the original. Can't go wrong with that. Katie, yeah, fire department. Anybody in the Talladega area, man, I would love a little help filling up my pool, man. That would make my day. So there you go. Let's talk about we're going to watch and track this little yellow spot off the Atlantic. The NHC's only got it at 30%. But I still think it's going to bring some weather regardless. So keep an eye on it, especially if that. Oh, Penny, you got one of them hammock shirts. That's awesome. Yeah, all right. So April, this weather in North Carolina, you got to watch it. Beaches doesn't look good. I'm being honest. Doesn't look good on Saturday. Sunday looks better, but Carolina beaches don't look good Friday, Saturday. Sorry. Nope. It'll be windy, rainy, stormy, moist. So again, if you go to Talladega, look us up. We'll be in site number 1101. We got 2 new banners by Furman with our race car for Daytona on it. They're going to be on both sides of the fence. Watch for a pool. Either there'll be water in it or no water in it. We're going to be in that pool one way or another because it's supposed to be in the 80s and 90s. We might just have to dump a bunch of Zephyr Hills in there. And beer. That'd be kind of funny, actually. Maybe not. I don't know. Oof. Don't drink the water. And then, yeah, so there you go. All right, we'll be live tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll be live. Thursday, we'll be live. Friday, we'll be live. Monday, we'll be live. Tuesday, I don't know. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday next week, probably not. We'll have to need to watch the weather and see if there's anything to talk about. If there's not, then we won't be live. That's my yearly getaway. So I need to just turn the damn computer off, but I can't. I'm addicted. I can't. I can't. I got to stay focused on the weather. First thing I do in the morning. All right. Well, we're going to do some post, Steven. How strong do you think the winds will be for where, buddy? They look pretty strong. Remember, this thing's going to be rotating. You're going to have some strong winds. One of our, was it Samantha was saying, we could have some beach issues, North Carolina, Virginia, maybe, as this thing goes north. So, yeah, we're not camping, Jason. That's not camping. Not camping. No, 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 no. But we got Starlink. So we're good to go. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. See you, Shelly. Hope you get better. Drink lots of NyQuil and pass out. See ya. Oh, I got my hair cut too. How's it look? Forgot.